A very good day wherever you're watching us from. Now, the Unit Trust has become one of the most famous funds that have been able to catch the attention of many Ugandans, with investments growing from over 1.13 trillion, that is in the first quarter of 2022, to over 1.3 trillion. And definitely this growth has been seen in several fund managers looking at growing and expanding the investments of their clients. And today we are especially talking about this Unit Trust Fund. And I'm going to be hosting Madam Sharon Tumoshabe, who is from Zeno Investments. And we will be talking a lot more about the critical success factors of the Unit Trust Fund. How does someone get to know that the Unit Trust Fund is actually succeeding? And definitely we'll also be looking at the Zeno perspective. Zeno Investments Limited is one of the fund managers that have been licensed by the Capital Markets Authority to be able to hold money and funds, especially in the collective investment scheme and the money market fund, if you may call it so as well, to be able to see that the investors' money, clients' money is definitely growing. And yes, she's been here before on the show, and we'll be talking to her again and looking into what Zeno has for us at the moment. My name is Anthony, and I'm your host. And definitely, I hope you are having yourselves a good time. This is Financial Markets, where we talk finances, instruments like treasury bonds and the treasury bills, and so many others, looking at some of the things that might be looking at the trends, especially in the markets here in Uganda and in East Africa as well. It is the 7th day of September, and of course we are almost ending the third quarter of the year, and in the financial markets this really means a lot for us, because these periods really determine how the markets have performed, how different companies have been able to move forward and make the most of the time, of course, they have spent on the market. And definitely we also look at some investments that are not very much appreciated, and get to see that you and I get to learn how to actually get to participate in some of these investments. Today we are going to look at the stock market as well and see how the stock market performances were for different companies yesterday, and also get to predict some of the next few very vital stocks here in Uganda on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Now, looking at the exchange, in yesterday's trading, we had several counters be able to participate in the trading that was done on the different companies. Yesterday, however, was quite a good day, not so bad compared to the day before, with over 6 Uganda Securities Exchange equities participate in trading. And amongst these, we ended up with 6 gainers and 3 losers. Under the gaining side, we had Centum Investments, who led the gainers at a 3.04% gain. And we also had, he closed at a price of 311.2 Ugandan shillings. And we also had Jubilee Holdings Limited, who also gained by 3.04%. And that was to a price of 7,795. East African Breweries Limited gained by 2.04% and closed the day with a price of 4,995.74. And then we had the Nation Media Group at a 1.2% appreciation in price, closing the day with a price of 580.72 Ugandan shillings. KCB also gained by 0.09% and closed the day with a price of 1,299.84. Ugandan shillings. Kenya Airways at a 0.09% price appreciation closed the day with a price of 121.87 Ugandan shillings. Those were the top gainers on the market. However, on the losing side, we had the last company coming as Uganda Clays, who came out with a price depreciation of 5.03%. And we also had MTN Uganda, who lost by 0.11%, closing the day with a price of 180 Ugandan shillings. We also had Equity Bank lose 0.01% off their price, closing the day with a price of 1,530.542. Of these are local, and one cross-listed company was among the losers for the day. In terms of the volumes, Wumeme Uganda Limited traded the most volumes after trading over 208,173 shares, followed by Bank of Baroda Uganda, who traded 119,200 shares, and then Stanbic Bank Uganda traded 15,200 shares, whereas MTN traded over 13,650 shares. Regarding the performance of the Uganda Securities Exchange All Share Index, it climbed up by 5.51 points, and that was a 0.43% increase. When you look at that curve, you're seeing that actually the index improved quite much because of the 6 gainers that we had and just 3 losers that we had on the market. So generally there was a positive movement for the daily performance, representing however a 1-week loss still of 1.41% and a 4-week loss of 1.61% and a year-to-date loss of 9.74%. The USE Local Company Index, that is the USELCI, on the other hand, decreased by 0.07% because of the 2 counters that actually lost on the market yesterday. That is the MTN and Uganda Clays stock. And it decreased by 0.07% to 269.6 points on the market, making it a 1-week loss of 3.05% and a 4-week loss of 1.31% and a year-to-date loss of 16.96%. That's the general overview of the performance that we had yesterday on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Looking at Wumeme, who traded the highest volumes, he maintained the price very much at 200, and yes, it's one of the most traded stocks on the Uganda Securities Exchange and continues to perform extremely well. However, Uganda Clays Limited, after trading this volume, somewhat lost value, and so let's first have a look at the Uganda Clays stock there. Now, Uganda Clays stock has been one of the best performing, at least in terms of when you look at their year-to-date, very wonderful year-to-date performance, because they began the year with a share price of 13.0 shillings, and since then they have gained 30.8% on that price valuation, ranking them the number one stock in terms of year-to-date performance. So comparing the first day of the January, the first day of the year, they had a price of 13, and right now able to gain about 30.4% on their price. However, investors should take caution. Uganda Clays Limited has registered recently a very, but a poor performance on average, having lost over 11% of its value in the past 4 weeks. In the past 1 month, Uganda Clays has lost over 11%. And yesterday alone, as you can see on the graph there, And the details of 0.9 Ugandan shillings loss was registered, and that was a 5.03% loss, down to 17.0 shillings. And this 5% drop, of course, was not that big, but quite significant given the share price of the company, which is still small. So any slight decrease definitely comes in at a really, really huge percentage. Uganda Cranes, however, is also the 5th most traded stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange over the past 3 months, from the 2nd of June to the 6th of September 2022. And Uganda Cranes has traded a total volume within this period of over 3.65 million shares that are valued at 66.2 million over the period, with an average of 57,970 shares that have been traded per session, and a volume high of 1.14 million, which was achieved on the 7th of July for the same period. And when you look at the last 10 days of trading for the company, they last traded on, like we have seen, on the 6th of September, yesterday, after having traded a volume of 1,100 shares and closing the day with a market price of 17 shillings after having lost 0.9 shillings on their daily stock price. And then that was a 5.03% decrease. Besides yesterday, they last also traded on the 31st of August, where they had 5,000 shares that were traded and closing the day with 17.9 shillings worth of share price. That was on the 31st of August. And then on the 29th of August, they traded over 5,400 shares at 17.9 Ugandan shillings, while on the 26th of August, they traded a total volume of over 11,100 shares at 17.9 shillings as well, and so on and so forth. So they have been trading on average 17 shillings, and then the highest price within the last 1 month has been 19 shillings, which was achieved on the 12th of August within this same year, and that was after gaining by 2 shillings from 17 shillings the previous day of trading. Now, Uganda Cranes has a total number of shares outstanding that is up to 900 million shares, and these are valued at the current price of 17. They're valued at 15.3 billion Ugandan shillings. When you look at the company's history, they were able to get listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange on the 18th of January 2000. So they're one of the oldest listings on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And they trade under the ticker symbol UCL with the International Securities Identification Number UG00014. Uganda Cranes Limited currently, with this capitalization, is the 15th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange with the 15.3 billion capitalization, which represents about 0.069% of the Uganda Securities Exchange. And yes, that's the stock from Uganda Cranes. You can be able to buy some of this stock definitely from there. Of course, through your stockbroker at now 17 shillings, you can be able to buy yourself a share in Uganda Cranes Limited. Simple. You have to just open yourself an SCD account and then get in touch with your stockbroker and get to purchase some of this stock. We're going to take a quick breather. We return with, we have some stock, of course, from the Bank of Baroda stock, and also looking at Stanbic and some of the other counters that had some top movement on the market. We'll be right back. Stay with us.